Elon Musk is getting absolutely roasted and exposed all over the internet right now, and for good reason. It's becoming painfully clear that he's a fake gamer with boosted accounts in the new game Path of Exile 2. The drama began just a few days ago when Elon made the bold decision to stream himself playing the game where he made a complete fool of himself, looking like a noob on a heavily juiced and overpowered account. The guy could barely understand the basic mechanics of the game, like how weapons work and managing your inventory, which also calls into question if his Diablo accounts are also boosted because skills are pretty transferable between the games. His gameplay was pathetic to watch and makes you wonder why he's gone on record in multiple podcasts and interviews boasting about his gaming prowess like he's part of the pro circuit and taking first place in every competition, casually tossing out comments about how he's mastered some of the most complex RPGs in the world.
Basically, the top 20 and or even the top 100 is like totally dominated by China. It's
Really?
insane. Yeah, there's like China and a little bit of Korea and Taiwan.
So are you in the top 20 in the world or
Yeah.
top 20? Wow, in Diablo.
Yeah, yeah. I can cruise through tier 100 nightmare dungeons like a stroll in the park.
Unfortunately, most of these claims are lies, and it's really sad that Elon wants to portray himself as some kind of meta-human gamer god. Like he really wants us to believe that in between all his various business dealings and non-stop Twitter rants, that he is grinding non-stop on video games. It's hilarious. But this new act would take a turn during his PoE livestream where he fumbled his way through the game like a geriatric grandpa trying to use his computer for the first time. For someone who claims to be a lifelong gamer and one of the greatest players in both Diablo and Path of Exile, what was displayed was nothing short of a complete train wreck. And to make matters worse, he publicly embarrassed himself in front of the entire PoE community when he made yet another massive blunder that we're going to cover. Now, when you look at the leaderboards for Path of Exile 2 from a couple days ago, you'll see that Elon's character, Perseverance, was level 97 on the hardcore server. For context, the hardcore mode of PoE means that any death is permanent and would lead to the character's progress being wiped. Being that high of a level on the hardcore server placed him at the number 12 position in the world. But here's the thing. To reach that level in the game, you would have to effectively be playing it non-stop since its release. Like, you would have to be borderline insane, sacrificing sleep, sanity, and maybe even basic hygiene. We're talking about the kind of dedication you would only see from the most hardcore gamers. There are streamers running 50-hour marathons, barely hanging onto their leaderboard spots. Their lives revolve around the game. If you took a peek at some of these gameplays, you would see a bright future of arthritis for some of these streamers because they're like jackrabbits. They're spamming every button on their mouse and keyboard. So you would expect that when you tune into Elon's stream that he would be just as efficient as those guys, right? I mean, he went out of his way to tweet out that the game couldn't even handle how efficient and fast he is. But let's move on. We don't need to look at what he spams on his Twitter page. Just take a look at this elite gameplay.
There are four things there. This one has a real risk of dying.
So when you compare those tryhards to Elon's disastrous livestream, it becomes painfully obvious that something doesn't add up. During his stream, Elon looked like he'd never touched the game before. His decision making was atrocious and his knowledge of the game mechanics was non-existent. When he first started the stream and loaded up the game, people began to notice something very strange about his setup. In the game, you have stashes where you can place items and loot that you want to keep without filling up your inventory. And this is where folks began questioning what was going on because they noticed Elon had a tab in his stash that was labeled Elon's Maps. Now, I don't know about you, but I never refer to myself in the third person, and I don't think it's a normal thing that people just do. It was an immediate red flag. Next, Elon wanted to start exploring the maps and complete some quests, but not before he could make another horrific blunder. In PoE, maps and dungeons are connected by a node tree, where you have to basically go up each branching path before the game will let you go to the next map. You know, it's pretty obvious when you look at the world map where you can and can't currently travel to. I kid you not, Elon spent a full minute just clicking on one of the grayed out nodes. The guy was staring at the stream, moving at fucking 100 ping, trying to understand why he couldn't click and explore an area he hadn't even unlocked yet. It was obvious that he hadn't been the one playing the account, and the mistakes just kept piling up as the stream continued. Probably the most embarrassing part of the stream was when he completely skipped over extremely rare god tier loot. One of the rarest items in the game is called the Chaos Orb, which is a form of currency that can be traded or used for better items. But Elon's brain just turns off as he walks past the orb and continues on his path to foolishness. He's wiping out this dungeon and just destroying everything everything in his path when the item drops and he obviously doesn't know it's valuable. Someone with hundreds of hours in the game would never miss something this important. And the reason I say that is because it's basically impossible for someone this high level to miss something this important, because the game has a mechanic known as loot filtering. Deep into PoE, as you explore more maps, the variety and quantity of loot exponentially increases to the point that your entire screen can be filled with nothing but garbage loot. Thankfully, loot filtering makes it so that you will only see the best loot and will ignore all the trash. This buffoon didn't have the filter on, which is basically impossible not to have on at this level. And it also means that he had no way of being able to tell what loot was good unless he actually just looked at it, which is exactly what Elon did. Anytime he would start picking up items, he would only pick up the ones that were shiny and glowing, and he would further prove that he has no understanding of how loot works or rarity of items when he began showing off his gear. In PoE, gear has level requirements to use, but that doesn't really have anything to do with how good it actually is. Like, there are level 1 weapons in the game that still destroy bosses deep into the campaign, but Elon clearly doesn't understand this either, as he would make multiple comments on his gear being underleveled.
Here I am, like, level 95, but my staff is only level 62. My helmet is level 56, amulet level 61, ring is only level 48, 49, at least a level 75 jacket.
Mind you, this guy's build is juiced out. Whoever was grinding this account for him went above and beyond the Call of Duty. The weapon he has right now is one of the best weapons on the hardcore server. Like, you can't even buy this weapon. It only drops from like the hardest boss in the game or something. And Elon just has zero clue of what his build can do. He just continues to comment on the level of his items, which makes no sense in PoE. In order to get some of the gear that he has on his character, you would have to engage heavily in the trading league of the game. And as we all know, Elon didn't do any of the trades himself because he doesn't even understand what his equipment is. And here's where things get truly tragic, or hilarious, depending on how you look at it. The inevitable happened. Elon, fumbling through his session, made one catastrophic mistake after another, culminating in the ultimate hardcore gamer's nightmare. He died. And with that, his entire progress, his rank, and all the god tier loot his account had accumulated was gone. Just like that, all those hours of grinding, well, not by Elon obviously, were wiped out. It's a really sad day for whoever boosted this account. Like, you can't fathom how much time out of their life that gamer just lost. I really don't understand why Elon is so obsessed with impressing gamers to the point that he just blatantly boosts his account in a video game. It's really weird, and the guy is in his 50s with a bunch of kids as well as multiple companies to look after. He's clearly lying about his time spent playing video games or being a CEO or just about everything in general. It seems like he's just a compulsive liar and has an obsession with convincing people that he's intelligent, but it just comes off as really pathetic and lame. Maybe he'll come clean and address the rumors, but until then, that's all I have for today. If you did enjoy the video, consider leaving a comment to tell me your thoughts on this bizarre situation. Thanks for watching and have a good one.